Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about a couple of staple cards and cards that you probably should craft that's basically could be used in any sort of deck that you do make. Um, and so these cards I think are worth crafting or trying to pull if you can. Um, Yu-Gi-Oh staples are a thing, unlike Magic, where not every card can go in every deck. Uh, Yu-Gi-Oh has a kind of a list of cards that can potentially be used in any deck. So uh, here are a couple of cards that I think that you can definitely craft, and it'll be safe, and most likely it won't be banned or anything. They're kind of universal utility cards, card advantage cards, uh, removal and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and start off the list with some creatures that you can consider crafting, and then they're pretty decent. Hand traps, basically the gonna be the name of the meta as of recent. But alright, let's go ahead and go through some of them right here. So Maxi definitely, since we're playing the OCG list, Maxi allows basically should be played in almost every um, deck that is competitive at 3. There's almost no reason to play not to play this. It makes you going second a lot better. Makes going first better. Well, it makes everything better. Um, Basically, you play this, you can just force your opponent to end their turn essentially, or um, if they keep going, take the maxi challenge is gonna push you far ahead. And yeah, definitely 3. Um, Ash Blossom is another 2 to 3 copies in the deck, so another good staple here. Nibiru not as necessary in in the OCG format, namely because if you're playing Maxi, if you drop a Maxi on your opponent, they're not gonna keep going on with their special summon. Most people won't take the Maxi challenge if you Maxi them. They'll stop after 1 or 2 summons, and so Nibiru and Maxi kind of conflict with each other. You could play one Nibiru in the event that your opponent does take the Maxi challenge. If you went first and you set up a pretty weak board, they go second and they threaten to OTK you. If you do play a Nibiru, if you drop a Maxi and then you might draw into a Nibiru, then you can answer your opponent's board. So that's a situation where you could play Nibiru. You can play triple Maxi and then one Nibiru, just so in case you need to draw into something to answer their board. Nibiru or something like a evenly match would be a good draw into. You can also draw into other hand traps to disrupt their combos, like the Ash Blossom or the next best card, an Effect Veiler. Yeah, so Effect Veiler still pretty good, but I think it gets outclassed by Infinite Impermanence. So it's not a super necessary um, staple, but it is good in some decks, like in a Invoke deck or Shadow deck. It's used as fusion material, so where Impermanence can't be, so that's where Effect Veiler is pretty good. But otherwise, if you have to choose between the two, I would definitely go for Impermanence over the Effect Veiler. Ghost Ogre is good, not good enough to main deck. I think good enough to side deck though for sure. If you're playing against like a sword soul deck, which currently is not in the game right now, I think. But if you do end up playing against some sword Ghost Ogre is pretty good against them, so definitely recommend Ghost Ogre for the side deck. Maybe not the main deck, but side deck should be pretty good. Dino Wrestler, just an overall great card, great answer. Just a good beefy Cyber Dragon with a popping effect. Deals with most threats without triggering anything. So like if your opponent has a Appaloosa or has like this Domanica a White Knight here or something, you can just drop this on board. It doesn't trigger anything. It won't force them to. They can't really negate its summon, and then you just run over a threat and then just pop it. So it's a great card if you like going second. It's a good card in the side deck. Right now we're in the best of 1 format, so it's not gonna really be seeing too much play, but you can definitely play this if you like in the side deck when we do get the ability to make a side deck. So definitely something you should consider. Phantasm, another great card, but it gets sort of outclassed by Max C. So Phantasm won't be seeing too much play. Great in a side deck, maybe if you're playing against a Skystriker deck. Playing Phantasme basically negates their entire deck, and they have really no way to remove a Phantasme that easily. So um, probably not great in the main, great in the side, but we're not really playing anything with the side deck right now. So um, yeah, DD Crow, another good card. Um, you could uh, let me add something else right here. I kind of forgot. But yeah, DD Crow is another good side deck card. I don't main deck. You could probably play one if you wanted to. Um, but yeah, overall, since it's like release, it's always been a good staple Yu-Gi-Oh card to have in your deck. So yeah, DD Crow, another good one. Forbidden Droplet, definitely good. Another good card if you got the resources to craft and potentially play in the main deck. Not really much to say about it. It outs unbreakable boards. You run over people's monsters. You negate their effects, stuff like that. Not much to say. Just an overall great card. Dark Ruler No More, pretty similar to Forbidden Droplet, but not as powerful, I would say. But still a really good card. Um, it's supposed to be sort of a more of a budget version in real life of Droplet, but in Master Duel here, they're both the same. If you had to craft one or the other, I would definitely craft Droplet over the Dark Ruler No More. Dark Ruler No More tends to be more of a side deck card, and not many people main it, so um, definitely Droplet is mainable versus Dark Ruler No More is not as good. So I wouldn't craft this unless you had a lot of extra resources, or if we get the ability to side deck, then in best of 3 this is great. Triple Tactic Talents, another good staple here. Um, Not as good right now, I would say, because a lot of there's not a whole lot of um, big board negation stuff. Like you don't really have Phoenix Enforcer or Dragoon in the format, so I'd say Triple Tactics is still good. Not as good though. I mean, it's good if you. I mean, I guess it's still good against hand traps. Like if your opponent Ash Blossoms you or Maxes you, it's a way for you to kind of get some advantage, to kind of make up for it. So it's still good, but I wouldn't say it's that great. I think between this and like a Maxi, I'd rather just play Maxi for the draw. Like it, if you don't have space in your deck, I wouldn't play this at all. I would just go for the Maxi instead. Um, Another good card here, if you play a fusion deck, definitely Super Poly is a great fusion card. So for invoke decks, shadow decks, basically any deck that can fuse and use like material on the board. Um, yeah, Super Poly, great card. Regeki here, you get this for free. Yeah, another good card of if you need like removal. The best creature removal right here. Um, Dark Hole could be another card you can use, but with it, Regeki kind of gets outclassed because it's not that great anymore. Like a lot of cards will replace themselves when it gets destroyed or something like that. So it hasn't seen too much play, but still another good staple. Unfortunately, we don't get the Harpies Feather Duster um, for free, but another great staple. You can main it, you can side it. Overall, you should always be playing one copy of it, either in your main board or the sideboard. In my particular decks, I don't play either. I think I have enough answers for back roll and stuff like that, so I don't really play the Harpy's Feather Duster. But yeah, definitely, I would say this is one of those cards that you can craft. The chances of it being banned, probably unlikely. It's a great card, but it's not um, as powerful as it used to be. I would say even Heavy Storm should be able to come back in the format, but I don't know. I don't know why they still keep Heavy Storm banned, I guess. Or I guess Giant True Name makes sense, but Heavy Storm I think can come back. I don't think there's a lot of cards that you want to pop on your own board that can gain you advantage anymore. So I think Heavy Storm can come back, but that's a ban list talk for another time. Monster Reborn, that's just not a good staple here. Haven't seen too much competitive play lately. It's kind of slow because a lot of decks when they open up, they want to go first. Opening up a Monster Reborn kind of sucks. You know, if you're going first and you don't really have anything to do with it, so it kind of breaks. So that's why a lot of decks opt to come out. And that's the main reason why all three of these cards may not see main deck play, is because if you're a deck that likes to go first, then these three cards kind of break your hand. So they're not that great, but yeah. Um, still, I think it's still cards worth getting. And at least with Monster Reborn and Regeki, you get them for free, so I wouldn't really worry too much about it. You can add them or and use them however you like. Another good staple that I think you get for free in this game, or is really cheap to make, is just Mystical Space Typhoon. Used to be one of the best spell trap removal. Now it's kind of like, you know, tier 2, tier 3 in terms of spell trap removal. Not that great anymore, but still a good budget version if your deck is lacking back row removal. Good card to consider. The better card is Twin Twister. Twin Twister here is a lot better than Mystical, even though it costs a card to use. In most deck, you can offset that cost, or sometimes you like to discard stuff. Twin Twister is a really powerful card. Slightly better upgrade version of Mystical Space Typhoon would be Cosmic. Except this time it's costing you life points, but you can remove or banish stuff. A lot of cards nowadays, they get sent to the graveyard by being destroyed. They have an effect, so if you banish it, it's great because that, you know, they don't get their graveyard effect anymore. Sometimes, you know, in the weird fringe circumstances, you know, if someone like is playing an invoke and they activate invocation, you can technically chain this to the invocation and banish the invocation, and that it's going to make them really awkward for the turn after, since they don't have a way to bring back Alistair back to their hand, because they don't have an invocation in the graveyard, for example. So fringe plays like that makes Cosmic Cyclone better than Mystical Space Typhoon. And then here are some just pot cards, I guess. It's great that the pot cards are all supers for the most part, and so they're great staples if you need some sort of generic card advantage engine or some sort of generic way to kind of filter through your deck. So when you got Pot of Duality, not as great anymore because the format's a little too quick. So you can't just Pot of Duality, you know, grab the card you need and set and pass anymore. Usually it's gotten outclassed by Pot of Prosperity, so not as good anymore. But yeah, still card to consider. Desires you can always play in almost any deck if you can afford to. Most people opt to not play because you need more redundancy in your deck. You need your deck to kind of grind out a little bit longer nowadays, and so Desire's not seeing too much play. Extravagance, same with Prosperity. They banish stuff, banish resources from your extra deck. If you don't really need your extra deck as much, say if you're playing Necros, for example, or Monarchs, these cards are definitely you can play them in your deck and gain a lot of advantage. And even if you are playing a deck that uses your extra deck a lot, sometimes you won't use every single card in your extra deck, and so it's worth just adding 1 or 2 copies of this into your deck just to be to have some extra resources or consistency. Infinite Impermanence, definitely a staple must 3. In this list, just overall list, I would definitely craft 3 Maxi, and then either craft 3 Ash Blossom or 3 Impermanence. Those are 3 cards you almost always add to your deck. Is these 3 cards right there? So definitely, I would craft this if you can. Evenly Matched hasn't seen as much play lately, but still a really good staple card to craft, and it's not super hard to craft either. It's a great going second card, great sideboard card. Since it's the best 1 format right now, not really seeing too much play, but great card to have in the future. Red Reboot, same thing here. This is a kind of more of a sideboard card. Still a good staple though, but hasn't been seeing too much play. But yeah, might want one in the future. Imperial Order, real good card, game ender right here. You flip this, and if your opponent doesn't really have an out in the form of a trap or a monster effect, yeah, you lock them out of the game. So great card, good staple. You can definitely play this in main or side. A lot of people, I think, opt to side the card, but you can definitely main it. Vanity Emptiness, not as popular anymore. I still think it's a really great card. Still a great game-ending card. Just like Imperial Order, if your opponent doesn't have an answer to this, they outright just lose. It's a little bit more weak to, like, back row removal to like a Twin Twister or something like that. Or if they get rid of a card, or if you activate something, send it to graveyard, you can pop, your own vanities. But usually it's good enough to flip to just negate one special summon. From there, if you're able to break parity or keep this up, then you should be able to win the game. A couple other cards I think might be good that I didn't really add here. It's like Dimensional Grounds, I think. Yeah, this is another good card, another good staple. I'll just bookmark it. So yeah, you don't know about the bookmark feature, you'll bookmark it. It'll add to your list of like cards that you might want to use in the future. So this is another just good staple for anti-graveyard stuff. Let's see the barrier. Oh, here we go. Another good. Oh, not this card. Sorry, the wrong barrier. Where is it? I think it's Dimensional Barrier. Oh, here you go. Yeah, another good card, Dimensional Barrier. Right now, I guess the only fusion deck you're going to be seeing is kind of the Alistair Invoke deck, maybe Shaddolls. In the future, if you see Phoenix Enforcers, you see Sword Soul, this is gonna be another good side deck card for sure. I don't know if it's main deck worthy, but it definitely will shut down an opponent if you are able to play this. It obviously is bad against Link decks, so you wouldn't want to play this against like a Sky Striker deck or something. But you definitely want to play this against like fusion decks and synchro decks. Exceed spamming decks not as common anymore, so this won't see that much play. But yeah, overall I think this is gonna be good if we do get a side deck opportunity. Yeah, that's all. That's it. I think this list right here covers most of the staples in the OCG format, or just staples in general. If I miss any, or if you have any other suggestions, definitely put in here. Oh, I guess Call by the Graves. I'm not sure why Call by the Grave wasn't in here, but Call by the Graves for sure. A real good staple. I think Call by Graves is the second most played card now in terms of just main decking after Max C, because you need this thing. You need this to protect yourself from Ash Blossom. You need to protect yourself from a Max C, and overall it's just a great. It also acts as a DD Crow. That's why not many people are playing DD Crow anymore, because you have the Call by the Graves. So Call by the Graves, definite staple. I totally forgot about it. It's in my deck right here, but I just totally forgot that I didn't add it to my list of staple cards. Now it's sitting down here. I can't move this up here. That's kind of annoying. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, these are basically the whole list of cards you can consider. Unfortunately, all of them are super or ultra. They know, like Konami knows what are staple cards and what cards you're going to be adding in your deck. So if you got the resources, be sure to craft these ones. They know, like, except for the Typhoon and like the Monster Reborn and the Regeki, those I think you get for free, so you don't have to worry about them. But everything else, unfortunately, you're gonna have to craft, and they're very expensive to make. And so, but if you do make them, these are the cards to go for. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Got any comments or questions, just put them down below. See you guys next time.